We have all heard about the pollution that is taking place in the seas, and although we know it's harmful for the environment and kills millions of animals each year, not much has changed. And this is because what pollutes the seas are billion-dollar industries that will do their best to keep making as much money as they can without thinking too much about the problems they create. This is the profitable business of polluting the seas. Have you ever ordered a coffee? If you have, you might have seen that the bottle which the coffee is in is made out of plastic. The same applies for most juices and other drinks in general. Or the massive ships that transport oil and sometimes fail, creating huge disasters for sea life. Those things are massive problems because if an animal tries to eat the plastic or has the misfortune to swim close to the oil, will die. But as you can imagine, those big companies don't actually care that much. Plastic is the cheapest and easiest material to create things like bottles and straws. So to put costs to an absolute minimum, companies will try to use plastic as much as they can to make the biggest profit. The problem with plastic is that it takes approximately 450 years to decompose. Although most people don't throw plastic in the sea directly, even if you throw it kilometers away, the air might still push it back to the sea. In 2010, Deepwater Horizon oil spill happened, which is the largest accident oil spill in the history of humanity. It was 8 to 31 times larger than the previous one, and it was a disaster. The consequences were reproductive failure, organ damage, and the animals killed by these adverse effects contributed to the largest and longest marine mammal usual mortality event. In 2020, 3 oil spills happened, which is a lot better than some years ago, but it is still a massive problem. We know the problems and we can fix them, but not much seems to be happening. This is because the industries behind these problems are billion or even trillion-dollar ones. They do everything in their power to keep things as they are because, as you can imagine, this is the most efficient for them. Thankfully, we have seen some changes. For example, the plastic straws are being replaced by paper straws, and plastic bags in supermarkets are starting to cost a couple of pennies. But is this really enough? It seems like we are moving at a pathetically slow rate, and because it is really hard to change something that already exists, if no one tries to do something to at least try and solve the problems we already have, then we will destroy the amazing planet that gives us the privilege to stay for hundreds of thousands of years. But thankfully, this kind of people actually exist. And this is the point that I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Beast that just announced his plans to raise $30 million to save the seas and oceans. But he needs our help. Team Trees was his last campaign that he managed to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees. Now he needs 30 million to remove 30 million pounds of waste from our oceans. Go to Team Seas and donate as much money as you desire to support a great cause. $1 is equal to 1 pound of garbage out of the seas. So, let's save our planet.